Hello friends, today the game I'm going to show you is not actually played but compared and made through various databases and games. So this game is played between Bobby Fischer and Gary Kasparov. Those who those of you who do not know Bobby Fischer and Gary Kasparov, shame on you. Just joking. Robert James Fisher. So I'll tell you some information about Robert James Fisher, also known as Bobby Fischer. Robert James Fisher, March 9, 1943, January 17, 2008, was an American chess grandmaster and the 11th world chess champion. A chess prodigy, at the age of 13 he won a game which was dubbed the Game of the Century. At age 14 he became the youngest ever US chess champion, and at 15 he became both the youngest grandmaster up to that time and the youngest candidate for the world championship. At age 20, Fisher won the 1963 to 1964 US Championship with 11 wins and 11 games, the only perfect score in the history of the tournament. He won the 1970 Interzonal tournament by a record of 3.5 points margin and won 20 consecutive games, including two apprehensive 6-0 sweeps in the candidate matches. When the official FIDE rating list was published in 1971, Fischer was the highest rated player and by a wide margin. Fischer won the World Chess Championship in 1972, defeating Boris Spassky of the USSR in a match held in Reykjavik, Iceland. Publicized, pub, publicized as a Cold War confrontation between the US and the USSR. It attracted more worldwide interest in chess. In 1975, Fischer refused to defend his title when an agreement could not be reached with FIDE. Under FIDE rules, this resulted in Soviet GM Anatoly Karpov, who had won the qualifying candidates cycle, being named the next new world champion by default. After forfeiting his title as world champion, Fischer became reclusive and sometimes erratic, disappearing from both competitive chess and the public eye. In 1992, he re-emerged to win an unofficial rematch against Spassky. So that's about Bobby Fischer. Definitely an interesting story from an interesting player of an interesting player. And now some information about Gary Kasparov. Gary Kimovich Kasparov, born in Gary Kimovich Winston, 13th April 1963, is a Russian chess grandmaster, former world champion, writer, and a political activist and commentator. From 1984 until his retirement in 2005, Kasparov was ranked world number 1 for 255 months overall for his career. His peak rating of 2851 achieved in 1999 was the highest record until being surpassed by Magnus Carlsen in 2013. Kasparov also holds records for the most consecutive professional tournament victories and chess Oscars. So that's about Kasparov. He also won the title of the World Chess Championship by from Anatoly Karpov. So that's about them. Without further ado, let's check this game. Fischer has the white pieces and he opens with d4. He opens with d4 and Kasparov replies with e6. Just joking. Of course, Fischer opens with e4. Kasparov replies with c5 and we have the Sicilian defense on the board as predicted. As both Kasparov and Fischer always depend on the Sicilian to win some games and are both masters of the Sicilian defense. So Fischer played knight f3. We have e6, d6. D6 is also possible in this position and in fact is the most popular move after which d4 is played, but e6 and now d4 as always. Now Kasparov captures the pawn as always we do in the Sicilian, and we have knight recaptures, knight f6, knight c3, d6 going for the Taimanov variation. Also possible was the Najdorf. I'll just show you the Najdorf, which goes with pawn to a6. As you see, for those of you who are new to chess, the Najdorf is a variation which was first analyzed by Mikhail Najdorf and is now currently the most popular and the most best reply in the Sicilian defense. It is best for black and is played by both the world champions, actually 3 world champions more frequently, like Magnus Carlsen, Garry Kasparov and Bobby Fischer. So going for the Taimanov variation in this game, Kasparov, we have g4, directly going for the attack. You could continue like this, like bishop over here or bishop over here, but instead Fischer goes for directly for this. And Garry Kasparov plays knight c6, just developing. g5 is played by Fischer, kicking away the knight, and knight d7. Knight d7 and knight b5. Knight b5, just putting the knight on a better square, and knight c5. Bishop b3, bishop b3, to which Garry Kasparov replies with b6, saying that now if you capture with the bishop, I'll just recapture this and suddenly I'll just use this open file for my rook, and sometimes in the future I'll just burst open the position and will control the center and I will have a very good game. So Fischer of course does not fall for this. He instead goes with f4. Now you can see Fischer is really looking for an attack early in the game. So Kasparov decides this move h6 to just break the position. If captures, then this pawn suddenly look too easy. So of course Fischer plays a very good move, pinning the pawn, saying if you capture now, your rook is hanging. So I'll capture the rook first. So Kasparov just calmly replies with g6. We have queen back to queen h4, and now just rook rook g rook g8. Now Fischer just castles, and we have h into g5. Kasparov going for this capture, but this was not the best move. Actually, this allows Fischer too much in this position, as Fischer plays queen h7. This attacks the rook, and somehow the queen is now into black's position. So if the queen manages to pull an attack, white just wins in this position. So Kasparov has to be a little careful. So he goes rook g7. The obvious move to protect the only and the obvious move to protect the rook. We have queen h8, bring as the queen was attacked. We have knight back to b7, knight into d6 check. Actually, you can just see Fischer's calculating ability skills. As you can see earlier, this pawn was attacked twice. This pawn was attacked, and now the bishop is pinned. So if captures, the queen will you will have to give up the queen, since there are a lot of discoveries over here. So Kasparov plays knight b7, and just Fischer calmly captures the pawn. You might think this is a bad move, but if you calculate more 2 moves ahead, you will understand this position. Fischer played the best move, and it's just too much, yeah, for Kasparov to handle. Fischer's coming from all sides for an attack. So Gary of course recaptures, as there's no good move in this position, and now the knight is pinned. So if you capture you lose the queen. I'll just show it. Okay, so Gary just replies with bishop d7, saying the knight is I'm going to lose the knight, so there's no point in saving the knight. So I'll just play after this some queen move, and I'll just castle to safety, because as you can see Fischer is already threatening too much in this position. So knight captures. We have king d7, king e7, the only move for the king, and now just calmly Fischer recaptures h into g5. We have queen c7 by Kasparov, and as you can see both players are playing almost the correct and accurate moves suggested by these modern engines. So both players are very good, as you can see. So after this we have bishop b5 by Fischer, piling up near the king, and he's going to move the rook, maybe put the bishop over here, somehow get it over here, and then the win is very easy. So we have rook d8 by Kasparov, just waiting and watching what Fischer will do, as there's not a good move in this position. We have rook f1, as we discussed, just going over here, controlling this file. Knight e5 by Kasparov. If he could trade these bishops, maybe the game would be holdable. but Fisher goes for this instead. Now if you capture the bishop, I'm just threatening this, and I'm just winning this game. So that's definitely not an option, but Kasparov goes for it. And now Kasparov gets a little greedy, or maybe he should just resign in this position, because this is threatening, this is going. There are a lot of moves winning for Fischer, but instead Kasparov tries one or two moves more. He captures the rook. Fischer doesn't even recapture the rook. He just plays bishop f6. Gary Kasparov is forced to move the king on this square. King d7, as if the only move for the king possible. And now you just can pause the video and find the move. Yeah, that Fischer played. Yeah, it's too easy to find. If you found this is winning. Anything is winning almost in this position. But Fischer, with a glint in his eye, throws some light in the position by playing the absolute best move suggested by the engine, and that's knight into s7 check. Now Gary Kasparov resigned in this position, as if you go over here, it's just losing, since this is coming and now you have to give up the queen, and now this position is just lost. So, and if you go here, king d7, so king c8, then again the same idea wins. We'll have to give up the queen. And now let's if you can't move the rook, so okay, you move the rook here, and the bishop is lost. Next, the rook is also getting threatened. This position is just winning for Fischer, so no need to discuss this position. So that was the game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, you can show your appreciation by subscribing to the channel, and you will also get to view more content which I upload like this if you subscribe. So do subscribe. And now for today's puzzle. So it's black to play and mate in 2. Find the best move for black in this position, and it's mate in 2. I'll put the answer of the puzzle at the end of this video. Till then, bye. See you in the next video.